with the millions.
It's that world heavyweight flow. Championship belt wrapped around my waist. Yo, I got that Ric Flair figure flow. Slam you on the pavement, that's why they call me street pro. Create heat, don't beat flow. Like Jordan after the second time he three-peated, folks. Get ready, set, let's go. Fight toe to toe, release the flow created by this mic pro. Lights, camera, get low. Action packed, back to back. In fact, this monster will go. Y'all better let him know. Man with the master plan, and you have no need to know. You came prepared, now get ready for the show.
Yo, 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 what up, friends? Welcome back. Ballin' Buds is back at it again. Another episode of Banter, Brawls, and Bravado, the NBA edition. As always, I am your host, Omar, the sports professor Fonseca, and I am blessed today to be joined by two distinguished NBA insiders. And I'm especially happy to have Cal Lee with us here today from the Baseline NBA podcast. You will remember I did a stream with Warren, his brother Warren Shaw, recently on Millions. We are live on Millions as well right now. And again, we're happy to have Cal on. So Cal, welcome, brother.
Hey, man. I love the introduction, bro. I love the introduction, man. Like, just straight up. It just reminds me of Harlem World, Queensbridge, all wrapped up into one, man. It's awesome. So, thank you, Omar, what I'm saying, for blessing me the opportunity to hop on board, chop it up with you guys, man. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, I'm a hip hop head from the 80s. So I'm like New York, East Coast hip hop all day, every day. That's actually me on the intro music too.
Oh yeah, I know. I wasn't, so I wasn't gonna try to be tooting your horn too much.
It's okay. Toot the horn, baby. Toot the horn.
But if you know what I'm saying, let me just put it like this. If we had to do a redo of the Locks and Dipset, I'm just saying, you could have had the opportunity to come off the bench. You could have had the opportunity to come off the bench and handle that, right? You know what I'm saying? Could have handled it. Don't know if you would have beat beat our boy, but I'm just saying that energy, that's what we were looking for. That energy.
I mean, Jada is one of the greats out there that we've had. I always say, if I would have come like 10 years earlier, maybe even like 20 years earlier, like early 90s, something like that, I think I would have blown up. But the fact that I didn't start doing hip hop till probably like 2005-ish and stuff real seriously, it was already probably too late by then, because we moved into the Lil Wayne era and all the other stuff. It's actually funny. Me and my brother, our group was called For Progress Only, because we were for players only at first, and we had all this like commercialized whatever, all the bullshit music. And then one day he played a song of ours, a new song, in front of my mom, and he was like embarrassed because of the stuff we were talking about, whatever. Anyways, we changed it for Progress Only. We took our music into PGC, which is the radio station in DC, and we played our music for them because we were trying to get played on the radio. And they were like, bro, y'all would be dope in like the 80s and 90s. He's like, right now, all they care about is playing music to 14-year-old girls. He's like, this shit ain't gonna get played on the radio these days. And we were like, thanks for the honesty, I guess.
That's why you do podcasts, because then you can play all your music whenever you want to, however you want to, Right. So yeah, there you go.
Well, let them know where they can find you, Kyle, please.
Yeah, man. So, the show that my brother Warren and I have is called the Baseline NBA podcast. We basically discuss the hot button topics of the NBA. We've been doing it for a minute, man. So, shout outs to my man Shaw, my brother from another mother. We're a part of the 19 Media Group family. So if you catch us on YouTube, you can go to www.19mediagroup.com. So you not only can check us, but also the family of great content creators that do sports, music, entertainment. You could also catch all of our episodes if you just go to www.thebaselinenba.com. That's the home website where we host and archive all of our episodes, where shows are done weekly. When we cover the gamut, we bring on guests, we bring on people to discuss things that are happening, not just in the NBA, but just in the culture of basketball as well, too. And much like yourself, Omar, we have also been infused with a little bit of, the hip hop culture, right? So a lot of my upbringing, my mentality is derived from my experiences being a former lyricist and being a part of my crew and, implementing that, because I do believe that is aligned with, when we think about basketball, that's a part of that conversation. It's a part of the discussion. The great players that we talk about, they grew up in that era. And, we like to make sure that we stay as a bridge for those younger and those older to have good, honest conversations about what's going on, not just in the NBA, but just in the culture and the sport in general. And we've been having a blast doing it.
Facts, big facts. And I love it. I've ever since like I said, I did the stream with Warren. I've been watching y'all ever since, and I love it. I love seeing y'all on there. So congrats on the success. And I know y'all are doing big things. So congrats to much more to come.
Thank you.
Bobby G, you are a regular here on the podcast. But as always, thank you. I really appreciate you, my brother. You were with us on the season preview and on the end of year review last year. Go ahead and plug your stuff and what you got.
Hey man, y'all know what it is. Appreciate you for having me back. Always a treat. Hey, y'all know what it is, man. The Audible Sports Podcast, where sports meets life and culture. Me, myself, my brother, Wildcard Mar, and then of course on Thursdays for our Thursday night football post game show, which is the best of the world. And it's not just me that says it; other people say it. Sports Illustrated says it. ESPN says it. We are joined by Averill the Jets girl as well. So check us out tomorrow after Detroit and Dallas. If
that's gonna be a good game too.
It should be. So they should give us a lot to talk about. So if you ain't sleepy after the game, hey, hop on YouTube, head over to the Audible Sports Podcast YouTube page, and come vibe, put us up in the chats. And I'm telling you, y'all about to turn this into a non-basketball show real quick. Of course, I'm from the hip hop generation as well. I had bars once the time as well. And as a matter of fact, on Audible, we actually did a show. I think it's about 3 months ago now, where the topic was 20 rap battles or beefs that we needed but didn't get. And so we came out. We'll go through. I still have my list, so I'll let you each pick a number from 1 to 20 and see what matchup you pull up and see what you think about it. So Omar, give me a number from 1 to 20.
I said I'll let Cal go because we heard of one this morning. Eminem and DMX were supposed to have battled back in the day, apparently, and Eminem tore him up. We heard that news. Go ahead, Cal. You choose.
You said between 1 and 20.
Yeah, give me a number from 1 to 20.
All right. 13.
13. My number 13 was Big Sean versus Fabulous.
Ooh, interesting. I mean, Fabulous would have killed him, but
I
think Big Sean is like the Fabulous of this generation, though.
Maybe, but let's calm down a little bit. Fabulous was on another level.
I will say, in fairness, I think Big Sean knew the formula, right? When I look at the success factor between the two,
yeah,
we can make an argument that Big Sean obviously has had a much more successful career. Sure. But I think from a lyrical perspective, and I don't know if whether or not that's because, it's kind of like the conversations that we have about, Murder Mace, right? Like what version of Mace did we ever did you get to hear? I know that growing up, back in the day when I was, in the weeds of the underground scene and the come up scene, Murder Mace was killing it, right? Yeah. And then when he finally becomes mainstream, it's Mace, right? Yeah. And lyrically, you can clearly tell he dummied down a lot of the things that he was saying and where he was coming from, right? So it felt more like Harlem World representation than actually representing Harlem, And I feel like with Big Sean, I think maybe there's a space there where he may have dummied down a little bit of where he could potentially be lyrically. And I guess maybe that's the one thing that I enjoy about Fabulous is he's never really conformed. I'm not saying that that's a slight to Big Sean. I'm just saying at the expense of his mainstream level of success And
True.
especially you were just talking about this a few moments ago, Omar, about, you getting caught up in that period where that version of hip hop or that style of music now either seems outdated or just isn't sellable, right? Fabulous comes in at a time where it just is on the downside of what's considered marketable and sellable. Like, he's the only one that's still holding it up. There's not a whole lot around him to continue to elevate that. But then when you listen to him on cameos, when you catch him on mixtapes, still fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, he still drops gems. So I can see where it can play. It's an interesting matchup, though. I'd be curious of the criteria by which we would have to determine who would be better than who.
Right.
We are getting together and having a hip hop show soon.
All right, one more. Give me one more, then we'll get to basketball. We got cats.
All right, go ahead and give me 7, since that's the
number 7.
Lucky number 7.
Oh, the ladies night. Lauryn Hill versus Missy.
Ooh. Okay. Now we're speaking my language here. So
I had 18 other battles that I came up with that I feel would have been.
Now again, though, that goes kind of what Kyle was saying. Though, is this more of a versus battle sort of thing where you can sing and
battle or beef, whatever you want to call it? No, not versus. You're talking lyricism. I mean, we talking FU and the click you claim.
Missy from VA, Missy from my homeland, so I might have to take Missy on that. Although I love me some Lauryn Hill. Anyways, we are definitely doing a hip hop show. Cal, I'm gonna have you back. We're doing a hip hop show. We're gonna talk about, because I had if we didn't have to get you off of here to feel better, I would bring up a couple lists I found recently about the top albums of all time, and a couple other things that I have some real disagreements with.
So obviously you got something in the hopper. I got you. I got you. All good. Well, shameless plug. Please. While we're out there, you know what I'm saying, giving love, to, Audible, and to, Ball and Buds. Definitely check out Hip Hop Hidden Gems on 19 Media Group, man. My man Black Knight, Mojo King, they have prolific discussions regarding hip hop. And I think for us nuanced people who grew up in that era and also want to understand and learn more, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that's just a befitting way to kind of segue into like how we have all of our, you know what I'm saying, hands knee deep in the culture, some way, somehow. You know what I'm saying? So definitely go check them out. Shameless plug. Shout out to my boys from the Skills Foundation crew.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and shout out that 19 Media Group. I'm subscribed to them. Check out the channel right now. They got 2 live shows on right now, so they doing big things too. So good for them. Oh no, I get it now. That's when StreamYard does the portrait and the landscape. That StreamYard, you gonna
they're sneaky. They're sneaky.
Very, very sneaky.
They're no longer StreamYard. They're SchemeYard.
If I had tea, I'd be sipping it. That being said, let's keep it moving. Make sure you all hit that like button, whether watching now or on the replay. It is free to you, but it is invaluable to us. Really helps us out in the algorithm, gets us out to new people that don't know about our content, but that should as well. Handy QR code up there at the top. Go ahead and hit that. That'll take you to Ball and Bud's link tree. You can find our YouTube, which is most important. Subscribe there at BALLANDBUDS. You can as well follow our Instagram, among other things there. Let's get to some comments before we move into the NBA. Rock Chalk, shout out. How about them Nuggets? Hey, I know you from Kansas. Them Nuggets have been looking good now. Some people are saying Jokic is calling him a stat patter. I'm seeing out there on the interwebs. People may agree or disagree. We got to talk about that later, but thank you for tuning in. If you like true crime podcasts, Rock Chalk is the best true crime podcast on YouTube. Check her out at Rock Chalk. All right. Yes, we know. Yeah, we know. Hey, look, as a Celtics fan, my brother Paul Anthony Pierce went to Kansas, one of the GOATs. And if y'all keep besmirching his name out here because he be making some outlandish comments, we going to have some issues, me and the whole internet, all right?
Homie's got to eat, man. Homie's got to eat. So, he's an acquired taste. And I say that as a Boston Celtics fan, right? Like, I'm just saying, he is an acquired taste. So.
I mean, he do be saying some outlandish shit, no doubt. But when you put KG and Paul Pierce on a podcast together, you are going to get some outlandish things said. So, and Shy, I didn't know you were a Celtics fan too. Look at that. We got 3. Oh, that's beautiful. I love it. Bobby here's a Cavs fan.
I mean, don't hate. It's okay. It's all good.
I'm still getting over the LeBron years. Anyways, shout out Juno Razil 3737. We could go ahead and submit it here. We'll do what we can. I'm actually in a fantasy basketball league this year, gentlemen. I don't usually play, but this year Yahoo has a new format where you have like a few people that you put in, and it's based on their like weekly scores. So it's kind of like fantasy football version of it. So I'm like kind of digging that, because before it was so hard. You had to change every damn day.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to do all that. So anyways, okay, cool. Yeah, submit it. We'll let you know. All right, let's keep it moving. We got a lot to talk about today. First of all, the big news off the top. Everybody woke up shocked. Bars. Clippers disastrous season has hit a new low a little before 3 a.m., which is wild. Chris Paul posted an IG story saying, just found out I'm being sent home. Essentially what has happened now is Lawrence Frank, the Clippers president, has released a statement saying that the organization is parting ways with the 12-time All-Star. Now, the Clippers, who had a veteran-laden, some would say NBA 2K squad that they have formulated in the off-season, has not lived up to the hype. 5-16 and only won 2 games in the month of November, which will get me to my argument later about how I feel. But I digress for a second. Chris Paul, a Hall of Famer, no doubt about it, in this league. Moving off Chris Paul doesn't help LA from a financial standpoint at all, since he signed a veteran minimum deal on the offseason. But there are rumors, and actually it's kind of substantiated. Ex-Clippers guard Lou Williams said that he was rubbing the team the wrong way with a lot of his accountability measures. Apparently, him and Tyrone Lue haven't spoken in weeks, to the point where he was trying to schedule a meeting with Ty Lue, and Ty Lue wouldn't even have a meeting with him. Also, it came out that he said some things in a meeting with the team about the front office as well, so that could have played a factor. Needless to say, showing a Hall of Famer the door unscrupulously like that is going to have a lot of detractors, including me, but I am not the one to go first because we have a very special guest who I want to get an opinion from. Cal, what do you have on this crazy news coming out of today?
So it's just bad all around. But I'm gonna try. Like me, I tend to get a little too verbose. So I'm gonna try to keep my points confined to these 2 things. First, when it comes to Chris Paul, this has always been Chris Paul, right? Chris Paul, I know everyone is really dug in on the fact that he's a Hall of Famer, no question. But he's a point guard first. That's what he was built as. That's how he's always been. And he's never wavered from being that. And ultimately being a point guard also means at times you're not going to be liked, because the ball is in your hands, but you are responsible for getting everyone in the best position possible. And what's ironic is he's not even on the basketball court to do that enough, right? Which clearly tells me that Tyronn Lue did not see any value or any benefit. And maybe to some degree, he was placating to this idea that this is, Chris Paul's swan song, come back to the team, that he basically helped build the Clipper dynasty, for Ballmer to take over and move forward, like to move everything forward. They're just basically like kind of doing nice or trying to do right by. And I just think that the Clippers in many ways missed on the purpose of why you bring a guy like Chris Paul onto this team, right? So back to the thing with Chris Paul, this is who he is. Now,
Facts.
With that being said, he reminds me of like that uncle, you know what I'm saying? That's been stayed at his job, been doing it way too long, has found himself bouncing around with too many different teams. And at some point, he's just going to basically kick his feet up on the desk and just start telling business to everybody, right? He's just going to air it out. Like, what does he have to lose? He's got his legacy. You know what I'm saying? At the very least, the only thing he was chasing is an opportunity to win a ring. And he definitely was not going to do that with the Clippers. So clearly his goal to come back to the Clippers was for him to cement his legacy, because I don't see him. It would have been hard for me to see him playing anywhere else, after this season. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
He actually had a better opportunity staying with the San Antonio Spurs, and helping out Wemby and helping out that team. Look at what they're doing right now. You know what I'm saying? And they're doing that not even as a fully healthy team, but could probably use that kind of veteran leadership with the likes of a Chris Paul. That being said, and let me move over to the Clippers. This is just all bad, because even if at the end of the day you have a problem with Chris Paul and you have a problem with what Chris Paul is saying and how he's doing it, how you execute doing what you're doing doesn't look kindly on you as an organization. Because if you look at the track record of Chris Paul and what he's done for all of the organizations and the teams that he's played for, and you look at the legacy of the Los Angeles Clippers, you cannot sit there with a straight face and tell me that if the Clippers got this right, even if they had to get rid of him, that it would still look bad on them, because it still makes it look like they have no idea what they're doing.
Somehow.
Right? So again, the execution was god awful. I'm not saying that they didn't have a right to do it if it was that cancerous, but there's still a way that you go about doing it. And the way that the Clippers handled this was just so bad. It's so bad. We're not even talking about Chris Paul being an a-hole to other teammates and then mouthing off at the organization. We're talking about how the Clippers went about doing it. And that's what's going to stay with them. That's the stench that's going to stay with them. Regardless of what happens this season, they can miraculously come back and be a 500 team. No one is going to care, because they're going to come back to this situation in this episode, and it's going to linger on for them until something happens. Something miraculous has to happen outside of this season that's going to make people believe that the Clippers are an actual franchise that's serious and within the business of actually looking to win and have winning players and winning talent collectively together to go out and complete the task at hand.
Yeah, they were gonna find some way inevitably to screw this up, even if they were, like you said, doing the right move. It's still, they were gonna, in the machinations, the actual adjustment period, anything that they would have thought of to go into this, they completely fucked up. Bobby G, what you got on this?
It just shows why the Clippers are the Clippers. Like, even despite the change of ownership, like, the Clippers are the Clippers. And this is coming from a Cleveland fan, which, what do I hear all my life? The Browns is the Browns, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if there's one person in an organization you don't do this to, it's Chris Paul. Like,
the inventor of Lob City.
Actually, Blake was the inventor of that. He created that.
No, but I'm just saying.
Oh yeah. His presence.
They weren't even good.
Blake doesn't climb the skyscraper unless Chris Paul is you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was mean Blake coined the term.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
You don't do that to any of them.
No,
him,
but
DeAndre Jordan,
yeah,
Chris Paul, right? Like Griffin, Paul, Jordan. You don't do that to them. That is your only golden goose right now. That is the only golden era that most people are going to remember about the Los Angeles Clippers, is the era of Lob City, and he's directly responsible for that. And you do that, like that's how you show what you admire about what he's given you for that period of time.
I'm even saying for the on court, not even for the on court. You don't do it to him because of what they went through during that period of transition. Yeah. What they had to put up through, what they had to deal with, going through the Donald Sterling situation.
That, and I'm glad
that's
you
like the
end.
That's like the NAACP right telling Martin Luther King, "We don't need you, bro." That's literally
Bobby, that is such an excellent point, bro. That is such an excellent point, because let's remember as well too, during the heightened sensitivity,
he could have walked out,
right? The heightened sensitivity of that, and remember at that time too, he is still considered. He was still an NBPA, right? Exactly. He was the president of the Players Association, right? that kind of level of professionalism. I don't care who you are. I don't care how many players don't like him, don't care for him.
Right.
You still have to be on that level with him. You have to step to him with that same level of professionalism. Anything less than that, and we calling you out.
Yeah.
We're calling you out.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, being from Cleveland, like the LeBron coming back with the infamous Dan Gilbert letter, and a lot of people thought that was a difficult situation. They sat down like grown men, they talked about it, hashed it out, and whatever. But like I said, Chris Paul going through that, knowing that every time I step on the court, regardless how it feels, every dollar I earn is going to a man who feels that way. If we do follow through, because I want to win. And even if I do win, I have to watch you. I'm talking about back then. I'm talking about back then. Like going through that because I want to win. And even if I do win, I have to watch the commissioner hand a trophy to this man. Right. And he stayed regardless.
You can say that now too.
And
yeah, you don't do that.
I want to throw something out that you just on top of what you just said, Bobby, real quick. And Omar, I know you want to step in on this, but here's the other thing as well too. Right now, if you're the Los Angeles Clippers, how can you make the argument about how cancerous Chris Paul was or is when you've never even put him out on the basketball court to prove the things that he was talking about, to holding players and the organization accountable for this disaster of a roster and a disaster of a season? And more importantly, Lawrence Frank coming out and speaking to this before Tyronn Lue is actually undermines your head coach, who was already on the hot seat. We just spent, like, on our show in the offseason, we were giving praises about how Tyronn Lue has basically had to make wine out of washer fluid with the way that the rosters have been constructed over the last couple of years and the unavailability of the star players, that he has managed to make the Clippers viable and competitive. And in many regards, I sit there and I say, man, we have to really start giving Tyronn Lue his props. It's no longer that because he had LeBron attached to the hip, or because he has Kawhi attached to the hip, or some superstar player. Like, he legitimately has coached well enough to be in the conversation as being taken seriously as one of the great coaches in the NBA right now. But when you do something like this, now I have to start kind of, I got to pump the brakes a little bit, because it's one thing if you just vehemently disagree with a player who's on the back end of his career, but has a Hall of Fame career. It's another thing when the way that he is actually talking about this, you're even not giving him any level or any platform to bring light to that, right? Like, if you think that Chris Paul is BSing, then you should have put him out there, let him look like trash, and then you would have justified you getting rid of him, opening up the roster spot for somebody else. But because you didn't even play the guy, you barely put him out on the basketball court, and then you see how dysfunctional this team is, and you can clearly tell they need some level of guidance, some kind of point guardianship happening. Now it makes Tyronn Lue look like he is not he doesn't have the voice in the locker room either. You know what I'm saying? And that to me is a bad look for the rest of the season. So Lawrence Frank screwed up on both on two accounts. Even if his best intentions was protecting his head coach and protecting the brand and the organization, he screwed up by coming out and speaking to this and not letting the head coach, who apparently has had an issue with that player for as long as he's been having it, and let him speak to that. And that's just not good. It's not good at all.
And then the reasoning too, we're super grateful and we're just parting ways, and all these flowers and fragrances that they're like, don't cut the bullshit. Cut the bullshit. Like, you are a horrible team, a horrendous team that had very high expectations. And like I mentioned earlier, had only won 2 games in November. It's very hard to only win 2 games in a month in the sport of basketball. You have to really suck pretty bad. And the fact that a veteran-laden team, which is what pisses me off the most, a veteran-laden team such as that one should be the team to put up with a person that's giving them accountability and professionality, because they should all be doing the same. They should all be expecting the same because they've all been around the league forever. And the fact that a bunch of veterans can't get on the same page and are 5-16 tells you all that you need to know. And it's not Chris Paul's fault, because just like Kyle said, he ain't played but like 6 minutes a game when he even got put in the game. He has so many DMPs. He ain't never seen a DMP like this in his life. Like, what are we talking about right now? Clippers are always going to clip, and this just continually proves it. I mean, just like Bobby was saying, you can go back in the day to the Sterling situation, but go ahead and extrapolate that to now. Everything you said, Bobby, sounds exactly what could be said right now about this situation. You could just flip that from Darren Sterling's racist bitch ass to Steve Ballmer's financial improprieties. You know what I mean? So,
but you can, but Bobby, I'm sorry, were you going to jump in?
Man, I was just going to say one thing. Hey, the great Julius Campbell, remember the Titans? He said it best. Attitude reflect leadership.
Right.
Look who your leader is.
Exactly. You can clearly tell. You can clearly tell that right now, this Los Angeles Clippers team is not about the business of playing basketball.
No.
Okay. And I don't want to diminish, what James Harden is doing out there on the basketball court. It's not about that. Like, I don't want people getting this perception that, James Harden is just getting his numbers. Yeah, all superstar players are getting their numbers, but the problem is you can clearly see that this team collectively is just not on the same page at all about where they want to be, how they're going to try to turn things around. And it's ironic because this is one of those situations where if you are Tyronn Lue, if it's a young team, then you have to be the person to kind of show them how to get out of this, right? But because this is a veteran team, a lot of them have already checked out, man. Yeah. A lot of them are already dissatisfied and disinterested of wanting to play with each other to even get through this. So if you're Tyronn Lue, how do you get past that? You know what I'm saying? How you get past that? You embrace the guys who are actually been through that more than anything. You don't alienate them and you don't get rid of them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You don't. Even if it's a question of, all right, well, we got to have a players only meeting or whatever, right? Or we got to have a coaches only meeting, whatever. You got to do something. You got to change up something. And clearly something that has not happened, because if it gets out 3 weeks later that you didn't even talk to the player that you don't even play the most, oh, well, then that clearly means you were never feeling that player to begin with. It should never get to that point. I shouldn't be a quarter into the season and then I find out that at some point within that next month, three of the weeks of that month, you're not even talking to the player. You're not even addressing anything about the player, the issues or nothing like that. What is that? You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of stuff where, like, your girl breaks up with you. She's in your class. You go in your morning class. You have to walk past her, and you go out of your way to walk all the way to the other side of the room to sit down. And then when the class is over and she has to pass you, you go all out of your way to get with your boys, to get in your little huddle and you're kind of like looking back. You're trying to look back to make sure that you try to double take that back, make sure she's out of the clear so you can. You're gonna be doing that for the whole semester, yo. The whole semester. Come on, man. Like, what are we talking about here? Grown
that
men.
Is great. I have been in that situation so many times. That is tremendous. I love that.
Don't discipline the guy on his way out. Discipline the guy that you're paying $50 million a year.
But the fact is also that he is a franchise fucking legend. Like, and also when we talk about players who are most likely to be coaches, Chris Paul tops that list year in and year out. So why not keep Chris Paul, maybe even offer him an assistant coach position, maybe a front office position, and let him help you out with the veteran presence he has. Maybe after you fire Tyronn Lue after this year, you could have made him head coach. Now I'm being facetious because he has.
I'm gonna slightly push back on you on that, Omar, because obviously whatever it was that was being said by Chris Paul are things that I feel like would have made it very uncomfortable for that leadership to be next to him and to have to deal with him, You know what I'm saying? Like now again, this is all about leadership style. This is all about leadership style. You have some leaders that are just razor sharp, right? They'll just cutthroat tell you what the deal is, right? Mm-hmm. And it may hurt initially, but there may actually be some good from it, and you become better from it. Then you have situations where a person does that, and it's kind of like, man, I can't come into work today to deal with this kind of person because I already know what's going to happen, right? And so I just feel like even if the best intentions of the Clippers is to say, hey, we want to bring you in on a leadership role, I think there should have been a genuine conversation about what it was that Chris Paul said. And if it came to that point where it's just like, you know what, your words, what your choice of words, the way that you went about doing this, we just can't have you on the team, or whatever the case may be, it's understandable. But we'll never know that, right? Because Chris Paul ain't going to speak to it. And the Clippers have done such a porous job in how they did this, that anything that they say and anything that they do is not going to be believable. We're going to always we're always going to say there's still more to this, you know what I'm saying, just because of how you went about doing it. And that's that's the unfortunate part of it. You know what I'm saying? It's not about isolating and alienating anybody. It's just about recognizing that even for someone who isn't getting that much playtime like Chris Paul, who is a Hall of Fame player, who brings value everywhere he goes, you couldn't find any kind of value of having him on that team, even while they're going through what they're going through. And he's saying saying some stuff here and there, or whatever the case may be. It'd be one thing if he was like pitting players against coaches and all this other kind of stuff, but that's not what we're hearing. We're just hearing that Chris Paul is an asshole, you know what I'm saying? And he's saying asshole-ish things. And I would be doing that too if I'm losing a lot, right? Yeah. Name me any kind of sport that you're playing, and you're playing next to a couple of guys where you know that they can play better, they can be better, and they're just not in it. It's like, how much longer do you want to continue playing next to those people if they're genuinely not about investing it the same way that you're doing it? You're at a point where it's just like, I either don't want to play with you, or I'm going to call you out on that. So if they're all feeling sensitive about him calling them out on that shit, then what can I tell you, right? Like, it's probably better for Chris Paul not to be there, and he can go elsewhere where his input can be truly valued, and he can actually live out the rest of what he envisioned himself doing with the franchise that he thought was looking out for him the same way that I think he's trying to look out for that franchise.
Yeah, facts. Agreed. And yeah, no, I mean, it is better for Chris Paul that he just gets away from them and that current organization, and maybe later he can come back. We did get what a spirited conversation. That was beautiful. And we had a bunch of comments. I showed them, but I want to make sure I shout everybody out because this is your crew as well. 19 Media Group, Lakers or OKC. Thinking about next. Orlando would be sneaky if he doesn't piss everybody off. He says, any thoughts on that, Cal?
I can see it more OKC because I don't mind Chris Paul ring chasing, right? Mm-hmm. It would be hard pressed for me to see him playing behind Luka Doncic. Mm-hmm. I think Luka Doncic and LeBron James are enough, right? If Luka Doncic can hold how his level of play of what he's doing, I think, to me, again, it's this transformation that concerns me. Can he hold playing at this level throughout an NBA season? If he can hold that, there's really no reason to have a Chris Paul. You could reserve that roster spot for the NBA trade deadline or maybe the waiver wire and go about, getting someone. But I think someone like Chris Paul and someone like Luka Doncic, they would clash. And I just don't think that LeBron needs to be mediating with that kind of headspace. That, albeit now, if you're looking for a different look and JJ can figure out a way to get him out there, maybe with the second unit, third unit, maybe. But I really see him more in OKC. And the Orlando part I think is very interesting because right now the Orlando Magic are a hot team, right? Mm-hmm. And they're getting a lot out of Jalen Suggs. Sean and I talked about this. He really likes and buys into Jalen Suggs. I personally think that could be a good play, but only if you're seeing, the guard play fall off. And I'm not, right? Anthony Black and Jalen Suggs, I think, are doing a really good job out there. I don't believe in just putting veterans in there for the sake of putting veterans in there. You put players on that roster that are going to go out there and actually help you go out and win. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to be able to actually contribute and win. I've seen way too many years of guys who are, probably seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, as far as their career goes, and they get on the roster and the coaches don't even play them when you know that they could probably have value on that floor at some point. I don't want to see that with Chris Paul. OKC, I can definitely see it because I think the whole idea is they're in it for the long haul, and I think that it doubles down on Chris Paul's influence on the young players, and that team, as young and as talented as they are, it won't hurt them. It can only help them.
Also, we got another one from your partner, Warren, at a baseline 56-32. What about a Rockets return?
Yeah, I mean, Fred VanVleet is obviously gone for the year, and it would make sense. My thing is Udoka gonna run him out there, to use him in that regard? I think they really like what they're getting from with Amin Thompson and this blend of how this team has kind of come together with that level of length. I think that the idea here is if you find that the Rockets are a team that continues to struggle the mid-range jump shot game, right? Like it's only dependent on Durant and you're not getting that elevation from Thompson. Clearly Sengun is all level right now. If you need that extra punch from your bench to get buckets, there's a possibility there. And again, that veteran leadership is always good. But, listen, man, a little too much of that, I often say could be a dangerous thing. So, but yeah, the Rockets return, I think, is a good look.
What's next for Chris Paul, Bobby G, on your mind? What should he do?
I don't know. I mean, I know a team in Cleveland that could use a little veteran leadership, but honestly, I think I think
they need a killer instinct, bro.
Yeah.
I know I don't want us to go. I don't want to get on a tangent with that part of it, but
okay.
Cleveland's path to the NBA Finals is they need a killer instinct, man.
Yeah,
they gotta want this, and maybe having someone like look at what happened with Devin Booker when he played next to Chris Paul.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. The only thing that team lacked is they just didn't have a team talented enough to play against the Milwaukee Bucks. They just didn't have enough. But if you had Chris Paul with that mentality, you know what I'm saying, digging in the ear of a Donovan Mitchell, digging in an Evan Mosley's ear, digging in Darius Garland's ear, especially Darius Garland.
Yeah.
That could be a game changer. It's not even so much what Chris Paul is doing on the court as much as what he's saying in their ear off the court and in the playoffs. And I think that would probably be a solid look, is seeing him actually elevate. If anything else, if you really want to put two middle fingers to the LA Clippers, you know what I'm saying? Have Chris Paul mess around and get the Cleveland Cavaliers to the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's why I would happen there. It's not as much the on court as the off court. Like, we need somebody to put a foot in Evan Mobley's ass. That's basically what it is. Like Sunday, we had our second year player call out the whole team. Like, we need somebody. But I think the best fit would be the Houston thing. Honestly, if you look at KD has been Sans point guard since leaving Golden State, and he can't continue to play this type of ball where it comes down to the end of a game and it's, hey, get a ball to KD and figure it out. Like, he needs to be on a team with a point guard. He tried it in Phoenix, didn't work out. Tried it in Brooklyn, Kyrie didn't take shots, and got hurt, didn't work out. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, yes, Houston's talented, but they're going to need somebody in the playoffs at the end of a game who can decide, hey, this dude is hot. He needs to get a shot. Sengun, go down to the block. We need a bucket. Okay, it's time. Like, they need a point guard. And again, I think he can rub off on Amin. If you're going to do the Amin Thompson experiment, what better teacher?
Yeah.
So I agree completely. I think that Rockets is probably the best in terms of trying to chase a ring and even getting some playing time. Because I mean, he can get some run on OKC, but is he really going to get more run than he was even getting in LA at that point?
The one thing about the play for the Rockets, though, is their pace of play. Because obviously you're going to, like, if they're already a half court built team, all right, no worries. But you have these young studs, and I've often said that this could be the Achilles heel for the Houston Rockets when they play against a team that's going to play that's going to push the tempo against their style of defense, against their physicality, right? So you're playing against the likes of the OKC Thunder. So if you're getting a Chris Paul, you're doubling down on emphasis that your half court game, be it on both sides of the ball, is going to stymie and limit opportunities to whoever you're playing. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not increasing those opportunities with Chris Paul on the basketball court. But again, to your point, it's maximizing the efficiency of your scoring. And if Chris Paul helps you do that, then you got to go for it.
Yep.
Any team could use Chris Paul. Shit, he can come to Boston. We could use him to teach the young
not
players.
OKC. Not OKC. That's the only place I give Cal a little pushback. I mean, the players at OKC would just like, we have our own example of it. Like, what can you show us? SGA?
Right, they don't kind of need kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right, shout out Chris Anthony. Appreciate you tuning in, my brother. I haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Champ Ross, thank you for tuning in. Says Steve Kerr is another coach that needs to be evaluated. Warriors are in trouble also. He also says, I think the NBA needs to make a roster adjustment to allow each team to have a veteran player on a roster that doesn't count against the cap as a leadership for young guys in the league. What do y'all think?
It's an interesting take. I do think that in some way, you know, you could probably get away with doing that, but just basically making them a coach. I think when have we gotten to this point where it's like players can't coach and coaches can't play? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing. I think we compartmentalize the idea of that, but maybe it's because the focus and the emphasis is on, you know, the details and the execution and stuff. But I do think it's pretty interesting. The one thing I often kind of I believe in veteran leadership. I truly do. But I at the same time as well too, I think that veteran leadership only matters when you're also setting the example. And it's hard to do that when coaches are not allowing veterans to go out there and play and execute. I often say to myself, I'm like, what exactly is this guy? Like, how is he that bad? When I look at some of the other players that are out there on the court that you're giving those minutes to, right? Like, what is this guy that you just basically are not playing at all? That's just taking up space. Like, how bad he could possibly be than what you actually have going out there replacing him? You know what I'm saying? That's what I say to myself. And this is, and we're talking about veterans, guys that have been in the league 7, 8, 9, 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, again, I find it to be an interesting conundrum a little bit. But I don't want to make it seem like you got to do that in order to establish, you know, young men to be accountable for what they're getting paid to do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think a veteran can only teach you so much. And at some point you just gotta knuckle up and get it done, you know? And if you can't get it done, then this isn't for you, you know? Because I would have told you that the veteran should be out there playing instead of that kid.
Yeah.
I'm trying to win a chip, man. You know,
for real.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is a great idea personally. But then again, as you mentioned, there's going to be advocates and arguments either way, because if you push the veterans out too early, as we've seen with them talking about the one and done rule and everything it was before that, versus the other way, if now that would, you know, keep an extra role for veterans without maybe, you know, hindering the progress of the younger players. It's something that's always going to be looked at in that dichotomy, in that kind of juxtaposition where you're looking at both sides of it and trying to make an even balance for all parties to try to win. But at some point you're going to get pushback from both sides because the veterans want to keep playing and don't want to give up their career, and the young guys want to get started now.
This is all about ego too, man. Yeah. Let's not get it twisted. Like I'm not saying that the idea isn't a good idea. I think it would need to be tweaked. But you ask any veteran right now, look at Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard's still, you know, trolling. You know what I'm saying? Saying I should be playing on a roster right now. Yeah. And based on the way that, you know, his physique and everything like that, why not? There are guys that are playing in the Euro leagues right now, like Kenneth Faried. Look at teams like the Sacramento Kings. We even talk the Los Angeles Clippers. You can't tell me not having a guy like Kenneth Faried with that kind of activity, that kind of hustle, wouldn't at least make the teams look competitive, regardless of whether they win or lose. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think it comes down to the evaluation of the talent. I think it comes down to the idea, the construction of the roster. And I think it doesn't matter whether you're a veteran or a young guy. It comes down to what is it that you're executing in relation to what the overall goal of the teams are. And you can clearly see that there is a disconnect from those that are at the bottom with the ones that are at the top.
Yeah.
You know, clearly you can see it.
I only think it couldn't work because some team would find a way to manipulate the rules and build some score. Oh, we got Anthony Edwards playing on a vet minimum, getting some kind of crazy back end, so
Right.
we can go out and sign SGA and bring, like, yeah, somebody will manipulate the system.
That and the fact that there's no way the NBPA is going to be down for that.
Yeah,
they're like, yo, these guys got to get paid.
Yeah,
it's either you pay them or you don't play them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the way that they're looking at it.
Last I checked, I thought I saw Dwight Howard dropping like 50 on people in Asia somewhere last season.
JaVale McGee do it.
All right. So, I mean, hey, fucking, what was his name? Jimmer Fredette out there dropping 75 on people's heads, 80 and like that. Clubber D says, bring back Tree Rollins. Love some Tree Rollins. Shout out Clubber D there on YouTube. As well, Champ Ross says, NBA trying to do anything to stop OKC's run. That's about to happen if the Lakers get Giannis for Reeves. Wow. That would definitely be a NBA inspired conspiracy theory trade, just like they did for the Luka Doncic trade last year, but we don't got to talk about that. OKC next, but we can talk about his man got his ass fired and deserved that shit for trading the franchise player. I get it. The league office made you do it. But anyways, OKC next 5 years could be something special once they add vets. I don't see anyone beating. I mean, they're already special now, brother. They just won a championship. They're probably going back to back. They're 20-1 right now. We're going to talk about it in a second because I might as well ask the gentleman now because I've been asking this, and Bobby knows since we did our last offseason end of review back in June, and I said I think Oklahoma City has a chance to break the Warriors record for most wins in a season. I think they will. I keep asking everybody. No one can ever give me a solid yes yet. Cal, even your brother Warren was like, oh, I'm not sure. Maybe, they got a chance. Bobby said the same thing. Cal, what say you? Do you think the Warriors record will be broken this year by OKC?
I don't think so. I think that they will be close. Let's put it like this. Remember when the Warriors were making that run, right? There was a stretch where I believe they had lost maybe 3 of their 6 or something like that. And we all started saying, oh, there we go. And it didn't diminish anyone's probability that they were going to go to the finals. They clearly were the best team in the NBA for the most part, but you also saw a chink in their armor. I will say, if you ask me 3 months from now and they're somewhere still, hovering around maybe 5 or 6 wins, then I'll tell you that it's realistic. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard for me to see that if they lose 1, maybe 2 or 2, that they're going to be, going all in on this idea about trying to break the record, because we're not talking about the Golden State Warriors all-time win record in a regular season and they went on to win a championship the same way that we talk about the Chicago Bulls. And I think OKC believes winning that championship matters a whole lot more to them than worrying about winning the regular season. There are just some records that, while they sound really great and awesome, we don't talk about it the same way as we do, because there have been so many really good teams that have fallen short, that have been knocked out, because of the matchups. And I think still people are still on the fence about how dominant this Oklahoma City Thunder team can truly be. I think what's scary is they can still get even better. Yes. It's just a matter of whether or not it will happen that way. You know what I'm saying? So if they exhibit it while they're going through this run, sure, they can do that. But I would be more pressed to believe that it's not going to matter to them, because to them, they're going to be about trying to win this championship and doing it in a more dominant fashion than having to go 7 games like they did last year with the Indiana Pacers. And I think that matters to them a whole lot more.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that fact. Is you got to think about Okay, how far? It's kind of one of those records where you push it as far as you can, and once you realize, okay, now we're on the edges. Like you said, 1 or 2 more losses, maybe they're 5 losses, but before the All-Star break, then it's like, all right, well, maybe we don't want to even push it, save our people, save our legs, et cetera, which was one of the counter arguments for that. But at 20-1 right now, let's say they got to 40-2, you know what I'm saying, something like that. Which again, yeah, it's pretty unfathomable, probably, but I mean, it's not like it's not completely a non-zero percent chance. So
that's why nobody can give you a straight answer, because it legitimately is.
You know what? I demand straight answers on this program, Bobby. What are you not going to give me a yes or no? Is that what you're saying?
No, because it is possible, but it's also not possible. I mean, the truth of the matter is, to me,
I mean,
it depends on their health and if they want to. If they want to, they will get it.
They will get it. Last year, the Cleveland Cavaliers were on the same kind of pace almost. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then look how their season, finished out, right? So, again, there's 2 other things I think that has to be taken into consideration. One, J-Dub just came back, okay? Let's not act like the Oklahoma City Thunder does not value their assets. They're going to load manage the hell out of this team if possible, which could also be scary good, because if the talent level from their second unit is almost as damn good as their first unit, then we can really have that kind of conversation about them being all right, downright one of the more dominant teams of our generation, of our era. But again, it's just the way that this is being set up, right? Like, what made it so significantly like mind-blowing was back then when the Bulls made that run, they were playing so many back-to-backs. And the way that the scheduling was set up, it was so it didn't realize it, but you didn't realize it, but it felt so daunting, right? Now, like, we're giving them, we're almost laying it out to say, hey, yeah, go ahead, do it, take it. And yet we're still not talking about it in the same breath as how the Bulls did that. You see what I'm saying? So again, we would have been having the same conversation with the Warriors, but the Warriors didn't finish it out. And the Warriors had a more dominant team than what we're talking about right now with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like, they were the more balanced team. As far as offense and defense. Right now, I'd be very interested to see, and this is just my perspective.
Yeah.
I'd be very interested. The defensive aspect of the Oklahoma City Thunder, no question. But the offensive side of it, I don't know yet. I want to see where this all plays out as we get a little bit, maybe mid-year, to see if they are leaps and bounds even better than what they showed me last year. Because that level of efficiency didn't show itself when they came to the finals and played against the Indiana Pacers, who only had like a quarter of a Tyrese Halliburton. You know what I'm saying? And that team offensively put their defense to the test. You know what I'm saying? So I want to see. I want to see, if this Oklahoma City Thunder team on both sides of the basketball exhibit that level of dominance that we talk about, the same way that we talked about with the Chicago Bulls, because that to me is where the comparison is going to lie if we're going to talk about them, getting the most wins. I skip over the Warriors part of it because you could clearly tell that the Warriors, they ran out of gas. They were not.
I disagree with that 100%.
Okay.
They didn't run a guy. What people forget about that season is they actually needed to do that. Remember, they barely got the Spurs for the number 1 seed. Spurs were on their heel all season. They didn't clinch the number 1 seed until like the final week and a half in the season. So they actually needed to win.
But they
all
weren't
those
nearly
games.
as dominant as the year before that they won the championship.
Yeah. You talking about the 15th team that lost? Yeah, they were. They were better.
Ooh.
They were better.
I don't agree. They took a step back defensively, man. They took a step back. They only realized towards the end that they had to make that run to get those wins. But I just felt like that team defensively was not the same team that went out and won that championship. It just, to me, that what made them as good as they were, and I know people are going to talk about the whole thing because, they didn't have Kyrie Irving and, they didn't have that Cavaliers squad. I just still think collectively, on both sides of the basketball, that Warriors team still was a much more dangerous team. And it's in my head, I think that they took a step back, defensively than that year previously. That's just me.
Yeah. To me, that team, because obviously I'm a Cavs fan, so I watched both of those teams very carefully for that whole 4-year stretch. And I was already watching Warriors before that. I agree with one of the comments. Yeah, Steve Kerr should have been on one. He should have never been the coach. We should be celebrating Mark Jackson right now. But that's neither here nor there.
And
but
listen,
big facts. He got screwed like shit out of that.
Let's not forget too. That wasn't that the same series that the Oklahoma City Thunder basically pushed them to 7 games.
Yeah,
right? They were on the brink of being eliminated with all those wins. So again, that's the reason why I'm saying that. Like when I look at this Oklahoma City Thunder team, yes, this team they're 20-1, but remember the first 2 games they had to go through double overtime. They didn't blow teams out of the water, and even now they're winning games, but they're not outright like completely dominating just yet. But that part of that reason is because they don't have their full, they don't have their full cast, but they're winning games. They're winning.
The average margin of victory is like 20. It's like the highest in NBA history. So to say like, how much more dominant do you want to be? You want to win by 30? By 40? They're literally playing with their food every single night. And like you said, they just got back their second best player. They've done all this without their second best player. And thank God for the Orlando Magic GM being the smartest person in the room. Because remember, in that draft, Chet Holmgren was supposed to be number 1 pick. Coming in, he was number 1 pick. Thank God Orlando took Paolo Banchero, because he would be on that squad versus Chet Holmgren right now, and it wouldn't even be a discussion. But OKC, it's just, they're different, man. They're doing it without the 3, but they play old school basketball. The other thing you got to take into consideration is playoff basketball. Playoff basketball is the only professional sports that's literally reffed 100% different than the regular season versus the playoffs. I
agree with you.
So, like, absolutely. Everything you say about the playoffs is absolutely true, but would it be the same if they actually reffed the regular season like they did the playoffs? Hell, maybe they need to. Maybe teams would actually be more prepared for playoff basketball if you actually called the game how it was supposed to be called in the first place.
Yeah, like that level of consistency matters.
Yeah, I hate the term playoff foul. Mm-hmm. Why is it different than the regular season? Why is there a regular
and then we question why all of the officials in all of the leagues suck because of that same sort of argument. And the fact that, like, even in football, they don't even make them full-time employees. It's like, come on, man. I got to go be a janitor on the weekend and call a fucking pass interference in a tight game in the fourth quarter. Nah, man. Champ says, I think OKC just as deadly as the Warriors, just in different ways. Warriors blasted you from 3. OKC suffocates you like a cobra. I went back and got the ratings. These are your 2015-16 Warriors offensive and defensive ratings, which is what I go to personally when I'm evaluating potential champions. I go to your offensive and defensive rating, and you must be ranked in the top 10. There are some obviously some outliers, but for the most
that's
part,
the KD team.
That's we're talking about the team that broke the record. That's why I'm putting this.
That would be 14-15. Is it 14-15?
No, it was this one.
No, 14-15. It was
14-15.
I thought 73-9 was 2015.
Hold on. Let me check my box.
Check to make sure, because I thought that's what it just said on Stat Reference that I was looking at.
Let me check.
And we'll come back to that.
Oh yeah, it was 2016. My bad.
Oh, is that your reference?
My bad.
Wow.
My bad.
Way to give a long walk around the park, baby.
You played that one very nicely, my friend.
Yeah, he did.
Very nicely.
I was like, wait a second. I know I'm not tripping. I just read that.
Sorry, Warriors fans.
Screw you. At least I remembered this.
So you know what? He did all that talking, not because he was trying to make it sound like that Warriors team was. He was bigging up the Cleveland. He's like, do you see what we had to do to get that ring? You see what mountain we had to climb in order to get that ring? Well played, Bobby G.
Hey, it's entertainment.
I'm gonna start renaming you Bobby V. You know what I'm saying? Start renaming you Bobby V with that one, bro. You pimping right now.
Kudos on that one.
Pimping your basketball talk, bro. For real.
The Warriors were first in offense, 5th in defense, 2nd in net rating at a 10.7. The Thunder, 3rd in offense, 1st in defense, and 1st in net rating at 12.8. So if you're going strictly by the ratings, the Thunder would be just a tiny bit ahead in terms of ranks and ratings. But again,
that's how it finishes out. We will see to Bobby's point, right? Like they are blowing teams out, right? Like, and there was stints with the Warriors too that they did the same thing as well too. And I'm not going to discredit that. I'm just saying that, like, when they play against, the premier teams, are they continually doing that, right? Like, are they blowing out those Denver Nuggets? Are they blowing out those LA Lakers? Are they blowing out the Cleveland Cavaliers? You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see if that part of it, to me, I think matters as equally as us saying at the end of the day, when they got all those wins, you know, is it collectively a reflection of the level of dominance that we're talking about when we talked about that Bulls team that did make that run? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because there is nothing that anyone can ever say to me differently, not just from a numbers perspective, but just from the game perspective, that what the Bulls did that season, that year, they dominated start to finish. They dominated. They left no doubt. Yeah, a good team is going to win a game or two, but they left no doubt. I don't want there to be doubt. If I'm talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder winning, right? Like, I don't want there to be any doubt, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I shouldn't have had any doubt last year once they got to the finals. They really should have ran through that Indiana Pacers team, but you clearly saw that they weren't as offensively effective as they were. So they really relied on their defense. Their defense was suffocating. Their defense was awesome. You know what I'm saying? So I want to see that same. I want to see that replicated this year.
Before. Yeah. Like, Indiana had the weirdest strategy. It was their solution to everything was play faster.
Yeah, it was chaos basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's literally what you have to do. It's like you basically put the team in a chaos chamber, and hopefully you go crazy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Your own team has to go crazy in order for, that's how they played. And you can see that they're struggling to do that now because they don't have the same cast of players to execute in that kind of fashion, but.
And here's your professor's stat for the OKC. SGA, your reigning MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, has a streak of 20 or more points in a game the streak is of 9. Jeez Louise. Get this straight. Come on now. It's right in front of you. It's like you're reading it. It's right in front of you. SGA aims to end or break the record of Wilt Chamberlain's streak of 92 straight games of scoring 20 or more points. Michael Jordan, for reference, had 72 and 69 for his best streaks. Kevin Durant also had 72. Wilt's was over 2 seasons. SGA just needs, 33 more games in a row, right? In order, because right now he's at the 39. So 33 more games in a row of 20 or more to tie it. If he keeps going and scores 20 or more in every game until the All-Star break, he will set the record on February 12th.
What is that? 6 shots, 12 free throws.
Right.
Yeah.
6 shots, 12 free throws. Yeah. He'll get that in the first quarter of every single game.
Hey, man, look, when you're breaking Wilt Chamberlain records and stuff that Michael Jordan only did once, I think it was kind of impressive, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, these are the kind of things that we call out, if we're going to put people into MVP conversations and stuff, because once they've done it all, then you got to find a new way to reinvent, people's mentality about why they see you as the most valuable player, right? You're basically doing something that is completely against what the standard is or what the trend is. And I believe that SGA is revolutionizing the game in that, to be as brutally as efficient as he is, reminds us about when Kevin Durant was, and still is in many regards, is doing his thing. He seems like he's a dinosaur to be able to still get 30 points off of 12 shots and essentially 10, 11 free throws. But that's the standard, right? Why do I got to chuck up 35 shots when I can kill you with 10? And the rest of the time I'm spending my days on the free throw line. And I know a lot of people, complain about the fouling factor and stuff like that, but that's the reason why you play basketball and you go to the free throw line, is to force the other team to foul you, to prevent you from making that shot. So if that's what they're doing, then they need to stop fouling you. And until they figure out a way to stop fouling SGA, right? What are we talking about here? He's doing what James Harden had done, you know what I'm saying? Literally for his whole career, basically, right? He's just doing it more efficiently.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is that we're in a totally different offensive environment too,
Right.
where you can get off with pushing off like SGA does, where you don't have to deal with hand checking that Michael Jordan had to deal with, among other things that have changed in the game among the years.
I'll say that's the only thing he revolutionized was the push off.
Well, he's pretty good at it. All right, we're moving on.
I told you how he does it.
Hey, yeah, you did.
It's all about flexing that wrist in instead of putting your palm out.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Chicken, it's the chicken wing effect.
Chicken wing. If you can get away with it, hey, who was it that said it ain't cheating unless you get caught, right? You can get away with it. It was one of these athletes, probably Charles Barkley. Not a good role model. All right, I do have to ask quickly about this because I want to get any thoughts that y'all may have about Ja Morant and or Zion Williams. So lately we've been hearing about the possible discontent between Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies organization, and possibly them listening to trades, which could obviously net multiple first-round picks. You also have the same for Zion. Although he can't seem to keep his weight down or stay healthy. Now he's out again. When will he play? We don't know. It's just like a rotating circle with him every year. Just comes back to the same point when you think he's starting to finally get off the schneid, so to say, and then he comes back to earth because he gets injured or he can't stay on the floor. Whatever it is, the Pelicans at some point are going to have to look into trading him, just like they did Anthony Davis, just like they did who was Chris Paul before him. So it's something that the Pelicans have to do, because unfortunately which really surprised me my whole life, that that's not more of a basketball city than it is. It really should be more of a basketball city. Anyways, Bobby G, you go ahead and start us off on this one if you want. Any thoughts?
Man, I spaced out because I'm watching the Cavs suck right now.
Oh, you're good.
They're giving me a hard time. No, but
you all right? You look more ill than I do right now, man.
Man, we're losing to a G League team in the Portland Trail Blazers right now, and it's pissing me off. Like,
oh, okay. You don't have money on it, do you?
Nah.
Okay.
Heck no, not this year, not the Cavs. Goodness.
Oh, okay.
I'd rather put money on the Browns. But to Ja, you know what? I can't say anything about Ja Morant any better than Klay Thompson said, man. Everything Klay Thompson said last week about Ja Morant was absolutely correct. Bro, we need you on the court. We need our stars on the court. Stop doing the stupid stuff. And like, it's being a black dude in America, I wish I could blame it on one thing. I wish I could blame it on a single parent home, but I can't, because your daddy's in the front row of every game. So what the hell? It's talk to your boy. Being
a black man in America, if you had a black father would have took you and smacked you upside your head. Right?
I'm saying.
That obviously tells you everything you need to.
Unfortunately, and I'm not here to call any parenting skills out because I am not a parent, but unfortunately, it seems like his father is more of a friend than a father, which again is not a bad
thing.
He's an
enabler.
It's not a bad thing.
If you could expect when your mom is calling you up to the mall to beat people up.
Like, he's an enabler, you know. That's unfortunate. Look, I think Ja Morant is a really, really talented player, but I don't think the NBA is a space that he's gonna be he'll be successful in. If you even right now, you know, when you look at the way that most players are moving the needle in sports entertainment from a basketball perspective, he is so far outside that realm.
Yeah.
He's literally teetering on LiAngelo Ball? Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Like, why would I want to be drawing comparisons of you as a player in your career, right? Which there is none, right? LiAngelo Ball will never be able to do what Ja Morant had already done in the last couple of years. But we're not talking about Ja Morant's accomplishments on the court. We're talking about the nonsense it's off the court, right? And that exactly is what led LiAngelo Ball to go and leave the NBA, because he did not work on his craft, right? And said, "Oh, I have now found my career in rapping, in being a rap artist, not
when
a basketball player."
Where the corners, whoa,
right? Like, okay, that's cool. And because he made that decision, that already spoke to everyone else in the NBA. We can't take that dude seriously. And I hate to say it, we're getting to that point with John Morant. And I don't understand how you don't see that, right? Like, forget whether or not you can go and be a franchise player for some other team. Everyone now is thinking about whether or not you can actually just be in the building.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I don't mean by you being there, showing up and playing basketball. I'm saying you mentally being there, you mentally coming to work, you bringing your lunch pail and coming to work like a ton of other players who are not in that position, who don't have the money that you already have access to. They don't have access to the organization like you already have access to. Has all of that and is willing to squander that and throw that away because there is something else far bigger and better or more beautiful that's got him preoccupied than handling his business right now. And I'm not even talking about playing basketball, bro. Yeah. I'm not even talking about you being a teammate to those guys that you're in the locker room with, those 12, 15 guys you're in the locker room with and going out on a night in, night out basis, or being accountable as the leader and being the vocal point for the head coach who you're in competitions with 30 other teams and 29 other teams in the NBA. I'm not even talking about that. This is what we're talking about with John Morant. Yeah. And it's just sad, man. But yeah. I honestly am to the point where I don't see a place for him in any team in the NBA until he gets himself right about what he wants the NBA, like what he wants to get out of playing in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is the point that even Klay Thompson was speaking to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be talking to me. You can't be wasting your time talking to me. I'm good. I'll always be good. I've shown you what my worth is. You're still out there trying to prove people that, and you already have been playing for as long as you've been playing. And that's a problem. That's a problem.
Yeah.
You know?
It's definitely a problem. And also it gets to the point where, and rest in peace to the late, great David Stern, but it gets to the point that if he was still alive, he'd have hammered him so hard that he wouldn't even have been thinking of making these mistakes because you get kicked out of the league very quickly. And even though Adam Silver has a spine made of jellyfish, at some point he may get fed up to the point where he also takes more restrictive action than he has thus far.
I want to throw something in there. I don't know whether I'm pushing back on what you were just saying, Omar, but
you always.
I think part of my concern here is where the NBPA is on all of this, right?
Yeah.
And you can clearly tell that they're in a different direction about how much involvement I'm not calling them out. I'm not trying to make it sound like they're not doing what they're doing. What I'm saying is that I think the mentality is very different. I think we just finished talking about Chris Paul and his influence of handling business, not just for, the players, but also for the union, for the league in and of itself. And it's hard for the union to step in and do anything when they have to spend more time trying to get guys to be mature when they are not even doing that on their own. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's hard for them to put their thumb on the scale when they have business that they're really trying to tend to, and they're sitting here babysitting people who obviously are not on the same page with where they collectively want to be and need to be. And I think that's a concern, right? When we get to that point of CBA, collective bargaining agreements, the players want to have the best image possible to validate getting more at the table.
Yeah.
And it can't be at the expense of guys like John Morant. And I'll even say Zion Williamson to some degree, because again, we're talking about your best ability is your availability.
Yeah.
And neither one of them, for as much as people want to push them into this spotlight of being the face of the NBA or whatever, neither one of them have proven that their availabiliability is not even just their best ability, but any ability that enables their team to go out and win. See what I'm saying? And that's a problem. That's a problem.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of Kyler Murray having to have a stipulation in his contract to stay off video games.
Facts.
Bro, you are making $40 million a year to do a job. Take care of what you need to before you take care of what you want to.
Exactly.
Because the next person to sign that contract now has to deal with this because you decided to screw up. And that's exactly what these two dudes are doing for the Paolos and for the Chets. And
it's
for
unfortunate.
That, yeah.
You know, it's really, 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 really unfortunate because it deprives us. It deprives the ability for organizations to really spend the time and invest in what they need to invest in building their franchise. I had this conversation, you know, it's a running joke between me and my co-host, my boy. You know, he keeps thinking I'm coming down on a guy like Jaren Jackson Jr. I keep bringing him up because we're bringing this thing about Ja Morant. But I speak to this because the organization made a decision about who the face of that team and the franchise is, and that's Ja Morant. And I don't know if whether or not Jaren Jackson Jr. feels differently about that. Maybe he feels some kind of way about that. But I can tell you right now that you can clearly see that one person has a different mentality about what success looks like and what he wants to get out of playing with the Memphis Grizzlies, and clearly what another person is doing. Yeah. And I'm just saying, how does that help Jaren Jackson Jr.? How does that help the Memphis Grizzlies? You get what I mean? So at some point, these roads are going to cross and decisions are going to have to be made. And then we were actually having this conversation. Are you going to get more out of Ja Morant moving him now than maybe Jaren Jackson Jr.? I would argue you get more moving Jaren Jackson Jr. now because he's proving to you that there are teams that could actually utilize his services.
Yeah.
Oh, I do the opposite. I trade Ja Morant for as many.
You're not going to get anything.
You're not getting any. Yeah.
I mean, someone will give up just for talent alone.
Right.
Just for talent alone.
If you're an organization, you're saying that you're rolling the dice to think you're going to get what the Memphis Grizzlies have basically already given him, right? Yeah. Forget whether or not he's playing in a small market. Right now, his position is point guard. He is supposed to be the leader of your team, essentially. He's going to be responsible for everybody playing up their level. And you have to spend time basically getting him to act right on the basketball court before you even worry about him having the ball in his hands. You get what I'm saying? Like, there are not too many teams right now in a position that are going to roll that dice unless they're desperate. Like if you're the Washington Wizards, or if you're, say, like maybe the Miami Heat. Like, you know, there's conversations about what would you be, you know, to the Miami Heat. But I'm thinking to myself, like, if Eric Spoelstra is taking a bunch of you know, lunch pail brothers and are going out there and basically posting up 130 points, what exactly is Ja Morant going to give you that you aren't already getting from guys like him? Is it because you think that Ja Morant's going to show up in big games in the playoffs?
Right.
Okay. The Miami Heat as an organization have proven they've never needed that. Right. And they still get to the playoffs and they still knock off number one seeded teams. You know what I'm saying? So
Spoelstra. Pat Riley basically hand walked LeBron out of Miami because he wouldn't curtail to some things that LeBron wanted done. He gonna put up with that from Ja?
I'm just saying.
He got rid of Jimmy Butler after Jimmy Butler just got mad about a joke he made on a press conference. Like, yeah,
he let Dwayne Wade leave. That's all he needed.
He's very vindictive, as we know. Pat Riley is
over $3 million.
But the standard is the standard, right?
That's true.
The standard is the standard, and unfortunately, look, man, there was a time I used to love watching the Memphis Grizzlies. Grit and grind, man. Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol, Tony Allen, Battier. Man, look, man. I if I was a Celtic, I never wanted to play that team, boy, because they were about as close as to my, you know, era of the Boston Celtics that played in that era where you had the bad boys of Detroit and you had the Bulls and you had, you know what I'm saying, the Utah Jazz, and you know what I'm saying, like that level of physicality, they're imposing their will. You know, they were brooding, you know, that I used to love that. And I'm not saying that Ja Morant, you know, what I loved about him is he had an AI feel to him, right? Like he may have been small in stature, but he played much bigger than that. And maybe it's because he had a chip on his shoulder because he was disrespected, you know, not being considered or looked at the same way that we look at the Luka Doncic's and we look at, you know, the ice trays and everything like that. So I gave him his props for helping get the Memphis Grizzlies to a certain point. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to close the deal and the opportunities they had, but you already saw inklings of this level of immaturity. And even then, when he was off the floor, right? Because remember, he was suffering injuries.
Yeah.
They were still going out there winning basketball games, which told you the influence that Jenkins had on that team, right? And with Bain and with Jaren Jackson Jr. and all of those guys, like, that team was still a legit competitive team.
Yeah.
And I don't know what changed. I don't know what happened, but now you can clearly see that if you're the Memphis Grizzlies, man, like, you're not going to win with the current roster constructed. I'm just telling you that right now. And if I'm Jaren Jackson Jr., I have to really be thinking about what my options are going to be outside of this, because if they're still going to clamor and hold on to a guy like John Morant, I can't be playing next to this version of John Morant right now. You know what I'm saying? It's not beneficial for the Grizzlies. It's not beneficial for his career either. I think he could be better suited playing where his skill set can be a difference maker. Look at what Desmond Bain is basically doing right now for Orlando. Probably the best thing that ever happened to him, even if he'll probably tell you up and down. And the fact that the Grizzlies went and got rid of Dylan Brooks, I think, was the domino effect that started all of this. But even still, you can't tell me that John Morant is still a franchise player. There's no way that you can make that argument to me now. And more so, it's gonna take a lot. It's gonna take a lot for that to happen.
Well, I think what Jaren Jackson Jr. should do is completely just say, forget all of you. I'm voiding my contract. I'm going to be LiAngelo Ball and become a famous rapper and make a shitty song. That shit was booty juice, LiAngelo. Your song was trash. Okay? Booty juice, basuda. Don't bring that crap to me. I don't want to hear no Lil Wayne, Wody boy. Shut that shit up.
His bank account says otherwise.
I don't care. I'd rather be broke. I'd rather be broke and make some music like that. You ain't never gonna find no music under the name Street Professor comes out like that. I don't care how much money you give.
I mean, how many whatchamacallit? Listen, man, my homie is breeding right now. You know what I'm saying? He got all kind of Pickney running around. I guess what the NBA doesn't giveth, he rappeth away. So
hey, he don't take it. There you go. Just to let everybody know your professor's fact on this one, Zion has played only 10 of 22 games, now at risk of missing a minimum of 3 weeks. There are 2 seasons left at $87 million on his contract. Again, this is the whole situation we just looked at with Ja. Is anyone really going to trade a great asset? I still think you can probably get a first for Zion, but again, it's just that will they, won't they sort of thing. What they can do is they can waive him before July 15th and wipe off the last 2 years of his book, No Harm, No Foul. I don't know if you do that. That seems kind of crazy. I think if you drafted this man number 1, you better let him play out his whole contract because you already paid him the money. But who am I? I'm not a billionaire owner yet.
Yeah, you can't do that. If you're the you remember, this is the Pelicans. We're talking about the Pelicans almost the same way we're talking about the LA Clippers. Every transaction, every move that they've made has never really been solid. They've lucked out, right, when they've drafted quality players and then have managed to make them malcontent and basically make them want to leave, right? So listen, they should have moved Zion Williamson a while ago when there was really, really good value for him. I get where you're coming from, Omar. I think you believe that there's a first round draft pick. Again, I speak in the same ilk as I speak with John Morant. The only difference is that Zion Williamson's maturity or whatever the case may be is he's not in a position to he just, to me, is someone where if he can be on the basketball court and not be burdened with the weight of holding up a franchise, I think he could be a considerable, 1B player, 2A player, right? You send him, he complements. Like if you sent him to the Phoenix Suns and you play him next to Devin Booker, ain't nobody questioning whose team that is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And Zion sure as hell would never question who he's playing next to and who he's playing with. You know what I'm saying?
And
like that to me would probably make more sense. But putting him with somebody that he's gonna go out there and restart and refresh. That ain't gonna happen. If you're the Pelicans, you got to eat this. You got to eat it. See it through. If you're gonna trade him, you got to do good on the trade. And maybe having Joe Dumars in that executive office may go a long way in doing that. But you can already make the argument right now, like, damn, I'd have probably been fine going, still running it back with Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum and all these guys. They're out there eating on other teams. You know what I'm saying? Which really speaks more to how inept the New Orleans Pelicans have been, and for what they're getting back. They're not getting back any returns for the moves that they're making, and at some point that just cannot be the case.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter who they bring in there either, because they brought in David Griffin, who was all hyped up to be, one of the best executives. He didn't do shit either. So it's like they can't do anything right within that Pelicans organization, unfortunately. And again, it's sad because I think that New Orleans would be more of a basketball town, but it just isn't. It just isn't. Or at least they don't prioritize it as it should be. All right, y'all. Hey, make sure that you are tapping in with everybody here. We got one more segment to go, but please make sure you tap in with Bobby G at the Audible podcast there with my brother Wildcard Mar. And as well, you tap in with Kyle Lee and my other brother Warren Shaw there at the Baseline NBA podcast. That is Audible_Bobby G on IG and NBA_Baseline on IG as well. Make sure you subscribe to Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS. Hit that like button whether watching now or on the replay. It really helps us out. Clubber D says Zion is a bank robber and I'm jealous. I mean,
he ain't a bank robber. He just one of them dude like he was walking down the street and then the ATM just broke and started spitting out money and he just took it all. There's only one bank robber in the NBA. That's Ben Simmons. No, Ben Simmons.
Well, Kawhi Leonard too. I would argue Kawhi Leonard as well.
Ben Simmons is the GOAT. He wrote a manual.
Yeah, he wrote the manual.
I look at Kawhi as the Thomas Crown affair.
Yeah. That's true, man.
But you're right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Ben Simmons, low down, dirty shame. Like, just
bruh. He took it from everything they got.
That's great. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and we're gonna have to save the I had a couple more topics, but we'll do that on another episode because it's getting late. But let's go ahead and get into our NBA MVP and finals picks. We do this on every show, Cal, so don't feel as if it's too early. It's never too early for me. You will find out. I will make you pick in the off season. So we'll go ahead and give our MVP picks right now. Who's in your lead for MVP? We'll start with you, Bobby G, since I just popped that on Cal, and I don't know if he was ready for that yet. So, Bobby G,
bringing it on me. Oh, I mean, come on,
I mean, I know you're a basketball savant. You go ahead, Cal. What you got? Who you got?
No, I mean, look, right now, SGA is the guy. He's the leading MVP. But I do think that you can make the argument for just as far as inside track, Nikola Jokic, no question. Luka Doncic. Listen to me, he's balling insanely. And Cade Cunningham, I think he should definitely be drawing a couple of votes. I want to give your boy Donovan some love, but Donovan be having his moments, man. Like, but if you're asking me, like, so far as the number one getter, it's hard to to not give it to the guy right now who just clearly is just showing a level of dominance right now with the efficiency of his scoring and his team dominating completely off the board, both offensively and defensively. So yeah, I think right now, SGA is a front runner. It could be very, very much his to lose. I think what'll be interesting is how much J-Dub's influence will be. Will he take away from, how SGA, can SGA even leapfrog higher than the numbers he posted last year, which was very much unprecedented and things of that nature. Because I feel like with the rest of those other guys, there's more opportunity for the load to be more on their shoulders, like the Jokic's, obviously Antetokounmpo, to some degree, and even Cade Cunningham as well too. Kevin Durant could even be in that conversation a little bit with the way that the Rockets have to depend on his ability to score the basketball, and he's damn near averaging 30 points a game at his age, right, which is remarkable. And Luka Doncic with his level of dominance. So it'll be interesting. But right now, I think the front runner is going to be SG, and SGA. It'll be his to lose.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not going to have to expound on that any further. SJ, it would definitely be there for me. But I do want to piggyback off of something you said there. And as a Celtic fan, excuse me, as a Celtic, God, sorry, I'm getting a little sick.
You're right there.
As a Celtic fan,
don't be allergic to Jalen. It's okay.
No, it's the Lakers.
That would be Bobby G. He's allergic to Jalen.
It's the Fakers. It's the Fakers.
I'm allergic to Jalen's hair.
It's definitely Luka and the Fakers. I can never ever let the LA name come out of my mouth in any positive sort of light. As a Boston Celtic fan, I hate them so much with every passion of my body. But Luka is playing amazing. I mean, he is leading. He was averaging at last when I got this from NBA.com a couple of days ago, 35.2 points a game. That has him aiming to be only the 12th player in NBA history to average at least 35 a game. So that's just, I mean, we already knew he was an elite scorer, but that's on another level. And then, I mean, you mix in the fact that LA is good, right? And it's been with LeBron being out for half of the season, just coming back. But even with him now, they're 5-1 since he's been back. So I think that's a lot to do with Luka's influence, because it's obviously clearly not LeBron since he's fully not healthy yet, although obviously his veteran presence helped. So I'm going to go with Luka in terms of someone non-SGA. Also, you got to look at Jokic, as you had mentioned as well. A lot of people would say stat padding. He's looking to get he's averaging another triple-double this year. If he gets it again, he will be the only other player other than Russell Westbrook to have consecutive seasons with triple-doubles. So you also got to look at him, like you said as well. Bobby G, who you got?
I didn't boo Kay Cunningham because I booed him because you stole my thunder. Because if I had to pick, it'd be Kay Cunningham.
Like, oh, okay. There you go.
I mean, they're number one in the East right now. If they were to actually finish the season, it's number one team in the East. I think you'd have to give major consideration. His game is just, I love his game. I was so upset we didn't get the number one pick that year. Man, to have him with Donovan right now, that'd be awesome. But I digress.
I saw this little twinkle in your eye too. Like it just
like man. Just,
I thought it was that ring that was, you know what I'm saying, that hit the blind spot. That's all right. The little twinkle in your eye.
That's back in the box. That's back in the box.
Yeah,
but no, Kay, I love his game, and he's doing it. Honestly, I think if you switch him to SGA, he can do what SGA is doing in OKC. Their games are
Cade is the Eastern Conference version of SGA. Yeah, and I think that if to your point, I think if he continues to keep putting up the kind of numbers that he's putting up in the all-around game, and I'm not just talking about, because again, we get fixated on the offensive numbers, but also look at the defensive metrics as well too. That what Cade Cunningham is doing, he very much he's inserted himself in that conversation, because that's exactly the reason why the Detroit Pistons are among one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. So yeah, man, like I love that pick. I just wonder if it's sustainable. I think that's what
I mean. I mean, JB is a good coach. I mean, he was got to coach the Cavs last before he got with the Pistons, so I know a little bit of what he can do. And that team is kind of tailored to his coaching style, right? So, and especially with everything going on in the East, us not living up to expectations right now, plus all the injuries, it's not out of the question that they can sustain at least through the regular season.
But I think it's the playoffs. It's the same question to Omar's pick in Luka Doncic, because of Luka Doncic's transformation, and I think absorbing that load. The one thing that I can say that Luka has he has a newfound level of inspiration. I don't know. I'm not saying it's greedy or nothing like that. I'm just saying that I think he realistically sees himself saying, "I need to be the MVP at some point." Like, I'm tired of being in the conversation and not seeing it through, flaming out, in the back end of the NBA season, and then taking myself out of the runnings, for being an MVP. I think because in most cases he usually starts off slow and then he picks it up. Right. Somehow he's in the conversation. The fact that he's hot out the gate, and guys like Austin Reeves are getting theirs. Guys like DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah.
See, that to me is the key that puts it over the top.
Yeah.
Right? Because we get all enamored with the Jokic numbers, but what made Jokic as dominant as he was getting those numbers, and the Nuggets were still a top 3-5 team, you know what I'm saying, thereabout. And that dependency of him being a part is elevating his team as best as he can, and it couldn't be ignored. So the numbers are definitely there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the fact that the team has become a good team, a solid team, you know what I'm saying, I think speaks volumes to Lukic's next level of evolution to eventually become the MVP, because we had to do the same thing with Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's what I don't think it's much of Luka sustaining. I think it's more the others. Because for me, I personally expect Luka to do what he's doing. Now, maybe not to a 35-point level, but I expect him to play like he's playing and dominate like he's dominating. I don't think anybody saw Austin Reeves coming. If you told me at the beginning of the season Austin Reeves going to be playing like this, I'd have been like, nah, you out of your mind. But can he sustain that level to help Luka and the Lakers maintain that? That's a big, because if Austin Reeves takes a step back, Luka could score 40. It might not matter.
But I think I guess one thing to add to what you're saying though, Bobby, is when obviously LeBron inserts himself in this conversation, how much I don't see Luka deferring like he did last year. You see what I'm saying? And I think that to me is part of the key of why maybe this may be a different situation or scenario. I want to see if this same level of aggressive Luka maintains itself throughout the course of the NBA season. Right. And again, as much as he went through this transformation of his body, this is the first year of playing with that body. Right. Let's not ignore the fact that he has been injury prone and ignore the fact that he's missed critical games during the regular season, which is unfortunately knocked him out of the MVP conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because it's usually an extensive injury. If everything plays right and he's healthy, that will not be in question. But adding on to your point, if guys like Austin Reeves, guys like DeAndre Ayton, Jackson Hayes, and even LeBron James, if they're playing at an elevated level while Luka's getting his, then he's going to wind up winning the MVP. I think it would be very little to not to say that SGA wouldn't get it, but it would, like Luka, it would be hard pressed for him not to get it.
And he's an LA faker, so they always somehow get preferential treatment. Damn assholes. Anyways, Austin Reeves, as you mentioned, 28 points a game, crazy. 6 rebounds a game, 6 assists, 68% true shooting.
Safe to say he will win the MIP award.
Sure. Yeah. No, I think there's no doubt.
It's close. He got some confidence. Denny.
Denny from the Trailblazers.
Yes, Denny's balling, man.
He is.
He's balling. But man,
6.
Look, that's a sympathy. If you give it to him, it's a sympathy trophy.
It's like 35 over his last 5.
No. Bobby, I'm not questioning the numbers, bro. I'm not questioning the numbers. But you just said a moment ago, did anybody see Austin Reeves coming? I'm sorry, you weren't saying that about Denny, right? Like Denny was balling from last year. Even my man, because that's my man Shaw's pick. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was talking about Austin Reeves. You know, Austin Reeves is kind of like Austin Theory. He's around,
the masked man.
No. Now Austin Reeves is just flat out awesome right now. I give that man his props. My man balling out. And if he's gonna ball out like that, you got to give him an MIP, man. I'm sorry.
I love
MIP, bro.
I love getting the Austin Theory wrestling reference in the middle of the
I got to do that every now and again.
Oh, we the two of us are huge wrestling fans, so you're not going to hear. Actually, Bobby calls himself the tribal chief of podcasting.
Everybody thinks it was Austin Theory that came in and did the.
So what do you think? I mean, what do you think? Was it Austin Theory? What do you got?
I mean, why not? You know,
I think Vince ruined him pretty much. So I think he's got to build himself back up now.
It's a good way for him to do that.
Yeah. Well, especially after he was in that whack tag team with Grayson Waller. That didn't help any. Anyways, there's your Austin Reeves versus Denny Avdija. There's your statistics if you want to take a look at that. But it looks like Austin Reeves is a little better in the majority of categories except rebounds there. So, all right, cool. Well, that being said,
I think Bobby is wanting to make sure he prop up Denny because so he putting it on his calves right now. So.
Yes, another.
He ain't putting it on. He
Cavs
put it on.
prop
He got
up.
him for 27.
Which, by the way, I don't mind your Cade Cunningham choice because the Pistons are 17-4, and we couldn't have seen that shit coming. I mean, we could have, but not this quick. I mean, 17-4 is really good. I didn't think they were going to be first place in the Eastern Conference. But the Eastern Conference has been lacking a little bit so far with the Knicks struggling out the gate, Magic struggling out the gate, Cleveland even 13-9. So, anyways, what I was going to say though,
10 now, we officially lost.
What I don't like is 45 shots. What'd you say?
I said 10 now. We officially lost.
Oh, there you go. I don't like 45 shots. Okay, Cade, I'm going to need that to come down. 45 shots in one game is horrendous, and that's not – you don't need to be doing that. Come on, you're a better player than that. Anyways, moving on. Let's get into our finals picks there, gentlemen. Updated finals picks. Go ahead. Bobby G, we'll start with you on this one. I know you're going to pick the Cavs anyways. So.
No, I'm not right now. We don't – hell, we might miss the playoffs. I'm gonna go OKC from out west, and honestly, the way everybody's playing right now, it could be anybody. I'm gonna go with the Pistons.
Okay, you
as
think
it stands right now?
How young they are? Wow. Okay.
As it stands right now.
Interesting.
I don't like the way the niggas. I clearly don't like the way we're playing basketball, and we ain't even in the conversation. Everybody else is just kind of scrappy. This it feels like one of those seasons where the Miami Heat just make a run at the end of the year. They just get healthy in April and just it feels like that kind of year. But the Pistons they're the most consistent team right now in the East. Like I say, they got the best star who's playing the best basketball in the East. So I got and JB's coaching his ass off, so I had to go with him.
Facts. Bickerstaff is coaching his ass off, and as much as I hate the Heat, just like I hate the Cavs, because I'm a LeBron hater and everything he did to my Celtics, as long as y'all are being led by my brother from UCLA, Triple J, Jaime Jaquez Jr., don't front one of the best young players in the league. Y'all better get on him, and on my girl Gabby, UCLA 8 clap. All right, anyways, let's keep it moving. Cal, what you got?
Aye.
I mean, you still
listen. If the roster is constructed as is right now, I would definitely say the Detroit Pistons. But I have a feeling that the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to probably do something at the trade deadline. And see, that's why I plugged it right. Like you did rolled in real nicely, Bobby. Rolled in real nicely. I think it's going to come down to OKC and Cleveland. I think Cleveland will finally get this done. It's ironic because, I'm a believer of the Detroit Pistons, but I just don't think that they're ready yet. Like in a 7-game series with the teams that they would probably have to wind up playing against, they could probably get out of the first round, but I think they get knocked out in the semis. I'm still trying to be a believer of JB Bickerstaff and how he makes adjustments.
All right.
It's not a question of adjustments for teams like the New York Knicks, and it's just a matter of can they just be better? I don't know if you can do that with Mike Brown in his first year as a head coach. I think this team, while they look prolific offensively, they don't look the same defensively. The only team that I feel like has opportunity to come back to being that balanced team offensively and defensively right now out of the Eastern Conference like that is the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I see it being the Cavs. I see as OKC as my picks, to take the run, for the finals.
Yeah, I agree. At the beginning of the season, that was my pick in the season preview. I had OKC and Cleveland. Excuse me. No, I did not have OKC and Cleveland. I apologize. That was at the end of last season that I had OKC and Cleveland. In the season preview that I did with your brother and Warren, he'll know this and if he sees it back on video. But I went with the Thunder, and now that they have started to pick it up after struggling early on in the season, I have to stick with my original pick of the I feel something coming, gentlemen. Yeah. Not the New York. Oh God. The New York. I can't get it out. The New York Knicks. The New York Knicks and Thunder are my finals pick still. And I hate it so much. The drama is real here.
They may hate it too. Knicks may hate it as well. They're probably hoping it's going to be anybody else but the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah.
Facts. They don't want that smoke.
They don't want that Hartenstein revenge series. All right. Well, hey, we really thank everybody for tuning in today. This was such an honor and a pleasure. We're going to have to get Warren and Cal on at the same time, bring Bobby BFG back. We're definitely going to have to do a hip-hop show with at least the three of us in the near future. I'll get some other people that I know, some hip-hop heads we can talk. That being said, before we go, I do want to leave us on a positive note here. And I found this the other day, gentlemen. This is your 1996, what they are considering the greatest year in hip hop. Look at all these beautiful, wonderful albums. I think I had pretty much 95% of them. I think there's only a couple on here I didn't have.
That Crucial Conflict?
That is Crucial Conflict. I had that album. I'm not even much of at the time, I was more of a Goody Mob, Outkast. I still am Outkast all day, every day.
Yeah, for sure.
What do y'all think about this beauty right here? This is a gem.
That's just that's just beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a year, man. Stakes is high.
Still our soul, what? And Tupac All Eyes on Me is one of my favorite
Helter
albums.
Skelter, Nocturnal. Yeah, people don't know, man. Like Helter Skelter is like my favorite, hip hop.
Yes.
Like Boot Camp Click.
Yes, rest in peace to Pete.
Man. Sean Price, man.
Sean Price.
Rock this monster. Like that.
Yes.
Them cats, man.
Yeah.
Crazy. But even then, man, like, Tupac, All Eyes on Me. And
it was written.
I mean, you got Reasonable Doubt, and it was written. Considered two of the albums considered to probably be in the top 5 of hip hop of all time are in this category as well. So,
Reasonable Doubt by Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Resurrection, one of the most underrated albums of all time.
Illadelph Half-Life, bro.
Ooh, The Roots.
Concerto of a Desperado. Oh my God. That track right there. I'm sorry.
And they had the track.
It's giving me all the feels, man.
They had the track with Jill Scott. That was my joint. If you worry about how happy to hold a car. That was my jam, yo. I used to pump that shit all the time.
And then obviously, the swan song for Tribe Called Quest, right? Beats, Rhymes, and Life.
Yeah.
That was basically it, So yeah, man, that was just such a prolific year of artistry, lyricism, music.
Yes.
Man, the culture was ready to take off, literally. Like, and then obviously we had the Source, right? Source magazine.
Yeah.
I think at that point, Double XL was about to come up on,
Double XL.
On the process. It's on the precipice. Yeah, man, that's just beautiful.
Yeah,
you can just leave that there.
I know, right? There. Leave that there for the rest of the show. Now, we are done. And if I didn't want to make sure that you got to be front and center when you announce your where they can find you at, I would keep it up there. But we got to go back to the 3-man because Cal, you got to let them know where can the people find you, my friend.
You can find us on all the major platforms, man. Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. We're all over. You can also catch us on the YouTube channel. Just look for the Baseline NBA podcast. Look for us with the 19 Media Group family. So you can go to www.19mediagroup.com. You could also go to www.thebaselinenba.com to check out not just any of our episodes, like just, our most recent episode, which is a good one. We had a really, really great episode. We sat down with Drink Champ Sports, Paul and Dono.
Nice.
Associate producer who talked about the Miami Heat. Real great conversation. Real, down to earth brother, loves his sports, loves his Miami Heat. So it was really good chopping it up with him. So definitely check out that episode. That's already available on YouTube. But the audio version, if you're a potty, that's going to be out, ready to roll by tomorrow, to for your listening pleasures. So yeah, man, like you can catch us all over, we're on the Insta, we're on the YouTube shorts, definitely chime in. Between myself and Shaw, I'm the passionate one. Shaw is the diplomat, right? He is the one who speaks within reason. I speak within tongues. So, that's how we roll, man. But that's the beauty of what we do with our show, man. Like, hopefully we bring perspective and thought and conversation, and that's what we encourage people to do, man. So they have a different perspective about how they view and see the NBA.
I love it, brother. And I have, again, enjoyed watching you all since I met Warren on the last one. And I continue to look forward to your success. And I want to continue to do shows with y'all and network and connect as well as we do with all of our podcasting people on here. And I've done plenty of times with Bobby G. Bobby G, let them know where they can find you, my brother.
I know what it is, man. Like I say, tomorrow night, tune into the Audible Sports Podcast YouTube page. We'll be doing our Thursday night post game about 10 to 15 minutes after the final whistle of Cowboys Lions. And of course, on Friday, the original Audible Sports Podcast for Sports Meets Life and Culture. We're going into the holiday season, so I'm sure we strike up a good convo about something or other.
Yeah. Love it.
And then, catch me on Mondays and Wednesdays. Me and Big Mike from the Man Cave with our Cleveland Sports Show, Game Time 216, which is every Monday and Wednesday at 2:16 Eastern. It's all Cleveland all day. Hopefully, we'll be celebrating a victory Monday this Sunday. Hopefully, we'll be celebrating Myles Garrett breaking the sack record. He's on the tear, so all the doom and gloom in Cleveland. We need. Hey, there's a ray of sunshine down in all that gloom and doom, and his name is Myles Garrett. So, that's what's good, man. Across all socials, Audible_Bobby G.
Yeah, should have traded him when you had the chance and got a few picks.
No, we should not, sir. That's blasphemy.
Sir, with the way you're going and my Raiders are going, we need to trade Max Crosby and you need to trade Myles Garrett and get the hell out.
No.
You can send Max over to Cleveland. Send him over to Cleveland and have him play next to Myles Garrett.
Wow, that would be wild. Actually, before we get out of here, gentlemen, let's pick the game tomorrow night. Why not? Cowboys visiting the Detroit Lions. Detroit is a 3-point home favorite, and the over-under is 54.5. Bobby G, let's start with you.
Detroit's defense they've been off balance. Something's off. I don't know what it is.
They have been a little off.
Yeah, missing those coordinators hurting more than they probably thought it would.
I said that on Sunday Showdown.
The Cowboys, people are letting Jerry Jones' reputations overshadow the fact that the trades he made after the Micah trade have actually pulled this team together. That defense is playing very well, and their offense has always excelled as long as Dak is healthy. I got the Cowboys for the upset on the road.
All right, there you go. Cal, what you got?
I think the Thursday night football games become a very interesting game to either get right or get wrong. This could be a trap game for the Dallas Cowboys because I look at this and say right now the Dallas Cowboys should be favored to win this game over the Detroit Lions. But I have a succinct feeling that because they're playing on a Thursday night, I see the Detroit Lions probably getting right at the expense of the Dallas Cowboys. That doesn't mean that the Cowboys are a bad team. I just think that they've been rolling a lot on that rhythm and that momentum, winning against the Chiefs, winning against the Eagles, and then coming in on this Thursday night game. Just I don't know. I just feel like the Detroit Lions have a different air about them. There's a level of desperation. They do not want to fall further behind by my Chicago Bears as far as that division goes and the Green Bay Packers. Right. So I feel like this is a get right game for them, for them to kind of like get themselves back on kilter by being off kilter playing on this Thursday night game. So I think that the Lions win. I think they cover the spread. I think it'll be a close game, but I think it's going to come down to some key plays and Campbell's influence is gonna have an impact on how this game is played out.
Fair.
Yeah, I take a little bit of what both of y'all said. I completely agree, Warren, in the get right needed for the Lions. They better get right because I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. But that's neither here nor there. I do think that
that's far. That's a long ways. They're gonna really. This game is more important for them to even get in the playoffs. To be honest,
they have to win.
We're not going to be talking about it like that because I think everyone had it baked in that the Lions are going to be in the playoffs.
Right,
but they cannot afford to lose too many more games down as we get to the stretch because if the Bears keep winning and the Packers keep winning, they might wind up being on the outside looking in.
Yeah. They got a big showdown Sunday, so
right. Yep. And it could wind up being that this game tomorrow with the Dallas Cowboys, it could come down to them possibly getting one of those last wild card spots. And if the Cowboys win, that knocks the Detroit Lions out, since they win the head-to-head matchup if they were to win tomorrow. So I think this is more of a must-win for the Detroit Lions, especially getting right. But they cannot afford to lose too many more games at this juncture if they still want to be in the playoffs.
Yeah. Agreed. And shameless plug, all of those things that Cal just said, we were saying as well on Sunday Showdown, because it's completely right. And what Bobby G said as well. Look, the Lions are missing Ben Johnson, and to Chicago and Cal's happiness, they're playing much better, and Detroit really needs this game. And Detroit really needs this game. And on the other hand, they don't want to fall too far behind. And I think that the Cowboys, while it's a fun story that they won the past few games, I don't think that they are going to be a serious threat in the playoffs. And again, I just think the Lions need this more. Lions win by 7, actually 6. Let's go 30-24. Lions in this one. All right, cool. Well, again,
for all the gamblers, remember, this is a unique situation who use analytics for your bets. Remember, this is the unique situation that even though it's a Thursday night game, neither team is coming off a short week. They got a full week because they both played last Thursday.
Oh, that's a great point. Good point. Good job for your betting parlays out there. Look, everybody, make sure you subscribe to Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS, handy QR code up there at the top. You can click that. It'll take you to our link tree. You can find all of our social media. Subscribe at YouTube, follow on Instagram. Hit that like button, whether watching now or on the replay. It really helps us out in the algorithm. It is free to you, but invaluable to us. I am so honored and blessed and thankful that Bobby G and Cal Lee could join me today. Y'all make sure you tap in with the Audible podcast, as well as NBA or Baseline NBA podcast, and as well Ball and Bud. So for these two distinguished gentlemen, my name is Omar, the sports professor Fonseca, and we will see you next time. Holla. 5,000.
He's with the millions. It's that world heavyweight flow. Championship belt wrapped around my waist. Yo, I got that Ric Flair figure four. Slam you on the pavement, that's why they call me Street Pro. Create heat on beat close. Like Jordan after the second time he three-peated, folks. Get ready, set, let's go. Fight toe-to-toe, release the flow created by this mic pro. Lights, camera, get low. Action-packed, back-to-back, in fact this monster will grow. Y'all better let him know. Man with the master plan and you have no need to know. You came prepared, now get ready for the show.